Hey guys, God bless you. This is your review for your test that's coming up um, most likely Tuesday of next week. We're going to do this in two parts. This is the first part. So just so you guys have an idea, your test will have regular shapes like these, and then you will have irregular shapes like these. But I'll do these in a separate video. So I'm gonna do, you guys will have your turn here, but the same 6 that I gave you here, you have an example of how to do it up here. So this part counts as your notes, this half. So make sure you guys copy it on your paper. You have the same page that I have. So just copy it the way that I'm doing it, and then you guys will do your turn. Again, you guys have the same shapes that I have, so you guys can just copy what I'm doing. So for rectangle, remember that each shape has its own formula. So rectangle and square have the same formula. So this first one is our rectangle. Your formula is right here, length times width. So we just do 8 times 3. It doesn't matter the order you do it in, because you just multiply the two numbers, but you can do it 8 times 3 or 3 times 8 and it'd be the same thing. So it would just be 3 times 8. Again, we're doing this formula here because we have a rectangle. It's just standing up versus laying down like this. It would look like that if you were to put it on its side, but it's the same thing. It's a rectangle. So length times width, again, you could do 3 times 8 or 8 times 3. It's the same thing because it's just multiplying the two numbers. So 8 times 3 would be 24, and that's it for the rectangle. So the rectangle is pretty easy. You just multiply the two numbers. And again, you have all your formulas here at the top. So on your test, you will have your formulas as well. You have to just remember how to use your formulas. So again, your rectangle is just length times width. That one's easy. I'm actually gonna jump down to number 5 just because it's a square and it's the same formula. But for the square, remember that a square has the same length on both sides. So if I give you just one side, automatically it's a square. And what that means is whatever I give you here, you would put it over there and multiply it. So for your square, just remember you're doing the same number times itself. So we would do 8 times 8. That is 64. So again, the reason why I jumped down, because a square is also length times width. So rectangle and square is both length times width, are both length times width. So square and rectangle, length times width for both of those. Now our triangle is up here. I gave you guys the marking, so let's just go up here for a sec. So down here is your base, and then your height is always the one inside of the triangle. So you only have 2 numbers there. The 2 is always there. We're always dividing by 2. So again, height is the inside, and then your base is always the bottom of the triangle, or the other number basically. So here again, we have base times height divided by 2. So our height, which is the number on the inside, would be 6, and then our base would be this bottom piece, and then again we always divide it by 2. So we're gonna do base times height divided by 2. So if you have a calculator, you can use a calculator. You have to just make sure you write out all of your work. If not, then you have to write this by hand. So let's just do this by hand here. 18 times 6, that's 48. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4 is 108. So we have 108 divided by 2. And then again, if you don't have a calculator, you would have to just do this by hand. 2 goes into 10 5 times. That's 10. Cancel, bring down your 8. 2 goes into 8 4 times. So this would be 54 feet squared. So again, we did base times height. So we did base times height divided by 2. Base times height divided by 2. 18 times 6 was 108, and then we divided by 2. So whatever number you get at the top, you always divide it by 2. Another way to do this is you can split your numbers and divide them by 2. So I can do 18 divided by 2, that gives me 9. And then 6 times 2, or 6 divided by 2, is 3. That gives me 27. And then we would double it. So we would multiply it times 2. So divide it by 2 and then multiply it by 2. So that's another way to do it. But if not, then again, you just multiply across. 8 times 6 divided by 2. 8 times 6 divided by 2. So we did 8 times 6. That was 108. 108 divided by 2. So that is for a triangle. Moving on to number 3. So number 3 is right here. So we have B1 plus B2 divided by 2 first, and then we multiply it times height. So B1 plus B2. So you're basically adding this and this. You're going to divide that by 2 and then multiply it times the height. So here, if you want to label your parts, this would be B1. This down here is B2, and then this would be your height. So we have 10 plus 12 divided by 2. Put that in parentheses because you have to do that first. And then whatever that gives us, we will multiply it times 2 because 2 is our height. So we have 10 plus 12, that's 22, divided by 2. Since we have 2 on the outside and 2 on the bottom, we can cancel them out. So our answer would just be 22. Or we can divide 22 divided by 2 first. That gives us 11. 11 times 2 is 22. So I recommend just doing it that way because not all the numbers can cancel with 2, like these 2 here, because they're both 2s. It only works because the height is also 2. But in any case, you would do the top plus the bottom divided by 2, not because of this, but because of the formula has a 2 on the bottom. So you would divide it by 2. So 10 plus 12 was 22. 22 divided by 2 was 11. And then we do 11 times h, which was 2. Not 12, but that's a 2. It's like close to the little marking there. It looks like a 12, but it's a 2. So again, we did 10 plus 12. Divide that with 2 because of the formula. And then we multiplied that by 2 because of the height. So this is 22. One more time. We did 10 plus 12, divided it by 2 because of the formula. There's always a 2 in the formula. And then multiply that by 2 because of the height. So if the height were an 8, we would have multiplied it by 8. So 22. Okay, next. 4. 4 is a circle. So for the circle, remember that we talked about pi. So let's go back up here for a second. We're doing this one. So for the circle, when you're just doing the area of a circle, all you have to do is multiply this number times itself and then just place the pi symbol. So for that one, you're just going to multiply the number itself. So our formula is r squared pi, right? That's area. This is r. So this would be 5 power of 2, and then you would attach the pi symbol. Remember that this is not 5 times 2. That's wrong. This is 5 times 5. If this number here is a 3, we would be doing 3 times 3. If that number is a 10, you would be doing 10 times 10. Whatever it is, times itself. Not times 2, times itself. So 5 times 5, that's 25. And then you're going to attach the pi symbol. So here we don't have to evaluate the pi symbol. Later we will, but right now our answer would just be 25 pi. Again, we take this number and multiply it times itself. Not 5 times 2. That's wrong. 5 times itself. So again, we'll do a little mini one. We have a circle. If the number is 8, then we do 8 times 8 pi. If the number is a 4, we do 4 times 4 pi. Not 4 times 2, that's wrong. 4 times 4 pi. So again, this one was 5. So we do 5 to the power of 2, which is 5 times 5, 25 pi. So that's it for that one. Circles are pretty simple. We already did number 5, but just to go over it in case you didn't catch it earlier, number 5 looks like this. This is how number 5 looks like. Since it's a square, whatever number is here, we want to bring it over and then just multiply it. Why? Because we're doing length times width. Length times width, like it shows right here. Length times width. So that one is just 8 times 8, which is 64. So if we have another little square and this is a 2, then we would be doing 2 times 2. If this number up here is a 7, we would be doing 7 times 7. So that one is 64. And then finally our semicircle. So going back up, our semicircle looks like our circle. The difference is it has divided by 2. The reason why is because it's half of a circle, not a full circle. So our formula here is r2 times pi divided by 2. Again, you don't have to write out what pi is just yet. We're just putting the symbol. So again, r here, I marked this in orange. Hopefully you see it on your paper because it's not the whole line. The whole line would be 6, but the radius is half of the whole line. So just 3 here, which is just this little portion right here. So that's the radius. Radius is only half of the line. Again, half of the line would be just this piece. So it's 3. So our formula would be 3 power of 2 pi divided by 2. Again, we're doing 3 times 3, not 3 times 2, 3 times 3 for this. That gives us 9 pi over 2. Again, you would need a calculator for this, but if you don't, you would, divide it by hand. It gives you 4.5 pi, 4.5 pi, 4.5 pi sign. So again, the difference with this one is that we want to divide it with 2 because it's half of a circle. It's not a whole circle, it's half of a circle. So I'm going to do that one more time. This is just this portion here, this portion, which is 3. So we have 3 squared times pi over 2. This again is not 3 times 2. That's wrong. This is 3 times 3, which is 9 pi over 2. And when you divide 9 divided by 2, it gives you 4.5 pi. Okay, guys, so that's the rundown of the formulas again. You guys can rewatch the video if you want. But you guys do have previous notes on this, but I'm going through all of the shapes again just so that you guys have it. Once again, length times width, we just multiply those two numbers, length times width. Here we multiply the two numbers and divide it by 2 for number 2. For number 3, we add top and bottom, divide it by 2, and then multiply it times the inside. Here we just do number 4, the number times itself. So 5 times 5 with the pi symbol. Here we do the same number times itself as well. And then last, we do the radius times itself with the pi symbol, and then divide it in half because it's half of a circle, semicircle. So go ahead and try your questions. They are in the same exact order that I did them. Go ahead and try to follow them as best as you can. Ask the teacher to replay the video if you have to. And then we will be back on Thursday with another video to review the irregular shapes. God bless you guys. Bye.